Fellas, week 4 in the books. September is done. Can't believe we're already through the month of September. Every single person got in the win column in the month of September. So give yourselves a round of applause. It's currently about 6:45. I've already recorded my other team, my other league. I normally do this league first. Not today. I'm still waiting for the videos as of this time from Jack and Ben. Um, but I don't feel like waiting until like 8:30 or 9. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the videos if I already have their videos, and we'll put them in when we get them. And if we don't get them, I'll be pretty annoyed. But we'll move on. Predictions. I went 3-2. 3-2 last week brings me to a perfect 500 on the season, as you can see right here. Sami, Sky, me, Char, I got our games wrong. Everyone else, I got your game right. So, yeah. Let's, again, I don't have the videos right now, but I'm going to talk as if they have shown up since I've started this video. So let's hear from our loser of the week, Jack, first. Jack, once again, loser of the week. What do you got to say?
What's up, guys? Coming at you live from the car, on the move today. Some couple just looked in as I was recording. Little do they know that I have a terrible fantasy football team through 4 weeks. We're going to try to fix that. Another group just looked in. Apologies. We're going to really work on that. Brock Bowers is going to wake up. I might make some trades. I'm disappointed, but it's not the end of the world. We're going to recover. They have me projected for second to last. If I finish there, I'm not going to be happy, but I won't be doing a punishment. Godspeed. God bless. Love you all. See you later.
Oh, Jack, you and your antics and being horrible at fantasy. Just a classic video of Jack Caruso. Thanks for sending it, buddy. On the flip side, our winner of the week, Mr. Ben Stern, back-to-back winner of the week. We are on a tear, 4-0, running rampant on the league. What do you got to say this week, my friend?
Fellas, what's up? Happy Wednesday. Another great week of fantasy in the books for my team. I was the high scorer again 2 weeks in a row. Team is heating up a bit. Going down the list, you got to start off at the top with my guy, Jalen Hurts, putting in another solid performance for me and my team. Shout out to Sami. James Cook, steady as always. He's a beast. Big performance from Amon-Ra St. Brown. Love him. And George Pickens, Georgie, he had a monster week, which was great to see. Top scorer again, feeling good about the team. I made a trade with Jared. So far, it has not worked out. Ashton Genty went off this past week as soon as I traded him, which I had a feeling that was going to happen. Trying to reassure myself that Jared didn't bone me on this trade, and he's insisting that it was a fair and honest deal. So, I trust him and believe that he's a man of his words. So I think the trade will work out in the end. But anyways, feeling good about the team. Good luck to everyone in the rest of the season.
Oh, Benjamin, just another hilarious video full of humor and just great stuff. So thanks. That was a genuine reaction. That was a great video. All right. Let's get into the matchups, shall we? Our first matchup from last week actually was Stern and Sean, 164 to 107. Just a shellacking. Just real bad. About a 57-point shellacking. Not close in any facet. Sean, I don't know what you did specifically for this league, but not only do you have the highest points against, Tyreek is done for the year, Malik is done for the year. You are down everyone. It's going to be a rough season. It's going to be a rough season for you. For sure, it's gonna be hard to come by. Maybe we look to trade Akane or Kyron for some depth, but I don't know. I mean, losing Malik is tough for sure. So 107 was not our lowest scorer of the week. Still beat out Jack. And actually would have lost to Omar by .02, which would have been pretty funny. Still beat out Jack by about 17. Jordan Love with 26, Devontae with 15, Tucker Kraft with 10. He goes stopped on the goal line at the 10, or stopped on the goal line twice as well. So he probably should have had a bigger day. And then Breece Hall actually matched his projection exactly at 16.1. So 107, tough sledding from Sean once again. Stern, 164, winner of the week by 7 or 8 points. Real good performance, as always. Zay Flowers with 14. Obviously, that was a much better performance than DJ Moore, who you would have had. Kenneth Walker with 12. He was solid. That was fine. Jake Ferguson with 17. Amon-Ra with 26. James Cook with 22. Pickens exploded with 33, looking great without CD. John Swift with 16. So, Stern, he did drop Austin Eckler this week, which means he is playing for real. He has decided to drop the guy who tore his Achilles like 3 weeks ago. Stern always manages to draft well. He always holds on to his guys. And I think last year was the outlier, and Stern is right back in the mix of things this year. He's obviously in first place, all by himself at the top, the only undefeated team left. Stern, 4-0. Looking like a wagon. It's going to be tough to knock him off with how well everyone's playing, honestly. So Stern gets the win, 4-0, 164 to 107. Sean drops to 1-3, currently sitting in 7th place. Matchup 2, we had the mid-off of the week, I say lovingly, with Jack and Chad, 124 to 87. Did not end up being close, was about a 40-point victory for Chad, but it very much was still alive, I want to say, going into Monday Night Football. It was Jalen Waddle versus Bo Nix and Cortland Sutton. Obviously, Bo Nix and Cortland Sutton both had very good games with 25 and 19 points respectively, but this game was a lot closer throughout the weekend than the score would have led on. Josh Jacobs obviously exploded with 31 points. Cortland Sutton with 19, as I already talked about. Same with Bo Nix, 25. Tyler Warren found the end zone, not on a pass play, but on a second running attempt from a direct snap, which was pretty good. Tyler Warren's first touchdown of the year. Godwin had a lot of targets, but obviously still rusty. He hasn't played in like a year after his foot separated from his leg, which was a very gross injury. Alec Ayamenar with 6.4 points. I can never get his name right. And Trey Tucker over Marvin Harrison, I think, was a surprising call, from me at least. I think I texted Chad about this. He would have played Marvin Harrison Jr. if Jaylen Warren wasn't ruled out at 8 a.m. on Sunday. He was trending to play the whole week, and then right before, they were like, surprised he's not playing. So that was someone he just traded for as well. But actually, Derrick Henry only had like 6 or 7 points, so I think Chad's probably not too upset at the trade looking back, especially with him getting his first win this week. I don't think that trade had any implication on this matchup specifically since Chad won by so much, but it's either here nor there. Jack, on the other side, 87 points, our loser of the week once again. He had no one break 20 points. His closest was Javonte with 19. Saquon only with 17. Saquon actually not having a great year relative to last year. He scored 18, 17, 9, and 17. Currently sitting as the running back 12 when he was the second or third running back taken off of the draft boards. Caleb with kind of comes crashing back down to earth after a 24, 16, and 29-point performances throughout the first 3 weeks, only scores 11. T. Higgins, I mean, I don't know what you do with any of your Bengals players at this point. Like, that offense is just such a dumpster fire. But Jalen Waddle, his stock does obviously get a boost with Tyreek being done for the year and possibly for his career. You never want to hope for an injury, but Jalen Waddle's stock is on the rise. Chris Olave ends with 9 points after throwing an interception, which at one point he only had -2, which is pretty funny. And Brock Bowers, again, disappointed from where he was drafted to take him in the second round. Only 9 points again. His knee is quite, you can tell it's still hurting him a little bit. He's currently the tight end 9. The tight end is a pretty weak position in general. So that is tough. And then Jack, once again, started the Ravens defense for 3 out of the last 4 weeks. Has gotten him negative, and he still starts them. So, Jack, keep on starting him, buddy. I think, next week is the week to turn it around for sure. And I think you should just keep doing that because it's working out well for you. But that's what we have. Chad and Jack. Chad gets in the win column finally, 124 to 87. Chad, 9th place at 1-3. Jack drops to last place because of the point differential at 1-3 as well. Matchup 3, and I think this was probably the most surprising result, if it wasn't mine, was Sky taking down Sami, 124 to 122. After Sami being touted as the new juggernaut by me and by a couple other guys, but mostly me, his team falls very short, only putting up 122 points. And Sky shocks the world, 124, gets the win, and it's the special teams. That was really the difference here. Lions with 20, they get in the end zone. Bills only with 7. That's a 13-point swing. But we'll go through it. Sky gets in the win column, which we're just pumped for him. Left a lot of points on the bench still, I will say. Marcus Mariota over Dak, I think that made sense. But Mariota with 16, Dak with 30 on the bench. You're not going to start Woody Marks because you pick him up as a flyer last week, but 27 points on the bench. Jerry Jeudy only had 7. And then R.J. Harvey looked pretty good last week, too. He got in the end zone with 19 points. So Fat Debo actually looked pretty good, 20 points, although he did pop up in the injury report for this week, which I'll talk about in the predictions. Quinchon looked very good again. BTJ is not good. Trey McBride was fine on Thursday Night Football. Calvin Ridley's bust. And then Kamara, only 11 points, looking like Kendre Miller is eating into his workload. Maybe he will be a trade target. I know Sean had Kendre Miller at one point. I don't think he has him anymore. He was just a little early on that. But Sky gets in the win column. Sammy, if Lamar doesn't get hurt, Sammy wins this game. Lamar only with 10 points, and he lost by 2. That's just kind of the way the cookie crumbles. Same with Trey Benson. He did get hurt. That's why he wasn't in on that last 2-minute drive. Sky was right. Thank you, Sky. Odunze looked good with 17, found the end zone. Omarion Hampton looked really good with 27. Jordan Mason kind of stymied by the very, good Pittsburgh run defense. I don't know if they're that good, but whatever. Made the decision to bench DK Metcalf in favor for guys like Trey Benson and Jordan Mason. And that's really what cost him. I wouldn't expect him to start Jordan Addison in his first game back, but he did almost have that 80-yard touchdown, but he was hawked down. And then Chase Brown only with 10 points on the bench as well. So rough outing for sure for Sammy. That's a game he's definitely going to want to get back, especially with Char on the calendar for this week. That's a tough loss for him for sure. But Sky gets in the win column, jumps up to 8th place, 1-3, one of the many 1-3 teams we have, but 1-3. Sammy drops to 2-2, 5th place. 4th matchup, and Dong was hung in this matchup. Noto and Omar. Not our biggest blowout of the week, but our second biggest blowout. Noto 152, Omar to 107. We'll do Noto's side first. Noto had 4 guys top 20 in scoring, which is always a recipe for success. Mahomes with 27, Bijan with 28. Bucky, who is injured, I'll get into that later, with 25. Garrett Wilson with 20. A.J. Brown disappointed once again after his bounce-back week last week. He is back to scoring single digits with 2 points. Kyle Pitts with 18, no longer an Evan Ingram fan, and then J.K. Dobbins with 11, and the Seahawks defense with 12. So just a solid outing for Noto, 152. He was actually 4th in scoring this week, so 6-3 against the field. But it was enough to get it done against most teams. Got done against Omar very comfortably. Omar, and I was actually wrong. Sean would have beat Omar by 0.7. I misread that. But Omar, 107 points. Drake London with almost a quarter of his points with 25. Everyone else pretty disappointing. ETN was good with 19. And then Daniel Jones with 10. Broncos D with 10. And then no one else topped 10. Derrick Henry only with 7. He has not looked good since the first half of the Bills game. The Ravens as a whole are a dumpster fire. Jamar Chase only with 7. Ricky Pearsall with 8, and he's injured. He's not playing this Thursday. Kelsey, again, looking washed, only with 9 points. And then Jamar with 7. So I think I might have said that. But tough outing for sure for Omar. He's not getting any value out of Ladd, out of Jamar. Derrick Henry, who we just traded for. The Ravens offense as a whole is not looking good. So Omar might be in some trouble. But we'll see, right? We'll see. It's a long season. That's why we play the game. But both these teams now 2-2. Omar drops to 2-2. He was 2-1. Currently sitting in 6th place. Corn Dog, 2-2, was 1-2. Now sitting in 4th place. Our last matchup, as always, is my matchup. And this was, I don't know if anyone was following, this was a banger of a matchup. Wrapped up in the 4 o'clock slate. After the 4 o'clock slate, so we knew what was happening. But 157 to 154. There are a bunch of reasons why I ended up winning this game that were just real close. It could be the Char dropped Hunter Henry and I picked him up. It could be that Quentin Johnson got a bullshit 30-yard catch at the very end of the game. But just real close. Char texted me saying, GG's, you won, with 30 minutes left of the 4 o'clock slate, which was a very good reverse jinx on his own team, because as soon as he said that, CMC scored and then Puka caught 3 more catches, and I was nervous. This was a battle through and through. As Stern said, yes, Genty did pop off this week against the Bears. I don't think he will sustain that, and I do think it was fair. He did not have to start DJ Moore this week. He got to start Zay Flowers instead, and Kenneth is a solid running back as well. So it was an upgrade of running back for me, downgrade at receiver, going from Zay Flowers to Pittman, but he's 4-0. He'll be okay. Just a real solid outing across the board. I made the right call of playing Drake May over Baker. If I would have went the other way, I would have lost. But just pumped to get a win here. I did not think I was going to beat Char. His team is looking real dangerous, obviously, with Josh Allen, CMC, and Puka. And Omar, I want to say thank you for trading Char Tony Pollard, because if you would not have traded him Tony Pollard, he would have started Kenneth Gainwell, and Kenneth Gainwell had 30 points, and I would have lost, and Char would have been the winner of the week. So you took $20 out of Char's pocket, put it in Ben's pocket, and gave me a win by making that trade. So Omar, again, I thank you greatly. But yes, Char's team 154. That's enough to get it done most weeks. I got lucky. This was my highest scoring matchup of the week, or like my highest scoring performance of the year. Egbuka was great for him with 20 as well, and then Tet was a little disappointing, but when you're going up against my juggernaut New England Patriots, that's kind of what you expect to happen, right? JSN with a little bit of a disappointing game on Thursday. He was able to salvage it by getting a 40-yard catch at the end, but it kind of looked like he was going to have less than 10 throughout the whole night. But I still think Char has the best team. He drafted the best guys he could have drafted throughout the first 4 rounds in CMC, Puka, JSN, and Josh Allen. Obviously, knock on wood, things can change, but it's looking like that was a perfect draft to start for him for sure, and I got lucky this week. So, but that's why we play the game. I think we play that matchup 10 times. Char beats me 9, but I got lucky and got the 1. So I move up to 3-1 in third place. Char also 3-1 in second. And that was the past. We're on to week 5, October, baby. We made it to October already. Crazy world we live in. Our first matchup, man, the 1-3 off here with Sky and Sean. And I was texting Sky before this that I thought he was going to beat Sean this week, but that was before Debo popped up on the injury report with a calf injury or a heel injury, which if he does not play, he's pretty boned. I haven't decided yet what I'm going to pick. I'm going to get there. I'm going to get there on my own. All right, let's do Sean first. So we got Fields is back in the lineup going up against Dallas. The last time Sean started Justin Fields, he scored 3 points and left with an injury. He's got Akane against Carolina, Kyron and Devontae, both against San Francisco on Thursday night. So, I'm not saying the matchup's decided on Thursday, but we're going to have a pretty good inclination of what's going on after the Thursday night. Rashid Shaheed has found his way in this guy's starting lineup, or Sean's starting lineup. Obviously, that is an equal replacement for Malik Neighbors. And then he's rolling with the double tight end with Zach Ertz and Darren Waller, who did score twice. But he's already questionable. How is that possible? He just came back. Okay, hip and rest. So he's listed as questionable. Maybe Darren Waller is the new Tyreek Hill. We'll see, right? And then Breece Hill actually has a pretty good matchup going against Dallas as well. So Sean putting a lot of stock into the Jets offense, which they are 0-4. And I know Dallas' defense is bad, but that's tough. That's a tough look. Sky does get Jaden Daniels back. He gets Alvin Kamara. He's got Quinchon. BTJ still in the lineup. Debo, Sky's pretty boned if Debo misses some time, and they did just sign Robbie Anderson or Chosen Anderson or whatever his name is now. He's got Trey McBride. He's got Jerry Jeudy. He's got Woody Marks. And he's got the Lions defense going up against Cincinnati. And it would be bad for Sean, I'll say, if Sky wins. You don't want to be in a place 1-4 on a loss from Sky. But he did just lose Tyreek Hill and Malik Neighbors, and all of his Packard players are on bye this week. So I think it's just a perfect poop storm for Sky to get a win here, Sean, unfortunately. And I will be picking Sky this week. Godspeed to you and your team. I hope everyone stays healthy this week, but I do think it's going to be Sky this week. Matchup 2, we got our back-to-back winner of the week, Ben Stern, going against Omar, whose team is just crumbling before his very eyes. And unfortunately for him, Drake London is on bye this week. Ricky Pearsall is not playing this week. Travis Kelce has hit the bench in favor of Sam Laporta. He's going with Jared Goff over Daniel Jones, it looks right now. We'll see how that goes for sure. But it is against Cincy, so that actually probably is the right call. ETN against a very stout Kansas City run defense. Derrick Henry against Houston. Keenan Allen going up against Washington. He's got three Lions players. He's got Jared Goff, Laporta, and Jameson Williams. So he's got 3 Lions players, and none of them are the best 2 Lions players on offense, Amon-Ra or as Stern would say, Amon-Ra and Jahmyr Gibbs. So we'll see. And Dave Montgomery is from Cincinnati. This is a homecoming game for him. So if you are a gambling man, maybe sprinkle some Dave Montgomery anytime touchdowns into your parlays this week. Again, I'm not a gambling guy. That's not gambling advice. I'm just saying. Those are things that people should know. And you got the Rams defense on Thursday night going up against San Francisco with a Mac Jones-led offense without his top three pass catchers with George Kittle, Ricky Pearsall, and Jawan Jennings all out. That is going to be an ugly game. I think that is a good defensive play, Omar. Stern, just been on a roll, only projected for 128, only a 10-point favorite. He has crushed those projections as of late. I don't think he's made any changes to his lineups. He's going with – that's not true. I'm wrong there. So DJ Moore on the bench, DeAndre Swift on the bench. He's going double tight end this week with Hawkinson and Jake Ferguson, Jake Ferguson's the tight end one on the year. He's been balling. George Pickens as well has been obviously played very well last week. James Cook, Kenneth Walker, Jalen, and Zay Flowers, his two newly acquired pieces, and then the Vikings defense going up against Cleveland. So, I mean, I think you all know that I'm going to pick Stern here, but I will say I like the defensive play from Omar. I'll give him that shout. I do like that he's benching Kelsey, but he's hurting. He's hurting right now. His 1-1 Jamar pick is not looking very good. His third-round pick with Lab McConkey is not looking very good. Drake London's on bye. CA3 is hurt. He's just hurting all across the board. So I think Stern takes this one. Matchup 3, we got Char and Sami. And Char comes in at about a 14-point favorite, which I think makes sense. I did send in the chat. Yeah, Sami's team is just crumbling apart before our very eyes. He loses Lamar through the bye week. DK's on bye. Odunze's on bye. Trey Benson has hit the injured reserve. Kittle, who I just traded to him, obviously is still hurt and haven't heard any news on when he's coming back. Just tough sledding all around for a team that looked to be on the up and up. But Nico Collins also questionable, popped up on the injury report today, which is new. Never mind. He was listed as limited last week so he should be fine. But he's got Matt Stafford as his QB with Lamar's replacement Thursday against San Francisco. Gibbs should have a very good game this week against Cincy. Hampton's been really good. He's got Devontae Smith back in the lineup, which is probably not great. He's the wide receiver 39 on the season. And then Jordan Mason against a very stout Cleveland run defense who's basically shut everyone down except for Gibbs this entire season. And then he does slot Chase Brown in the lineup against Detroit, who's looked very good as well. So Sami, I think, outside of Gibbs, doesn't really have great matchups. Nico has a good matchup too, actually. But, he's down a lot of guys. He's a 15-point dog here. Char, he does have Xavier Worthy back in the lineup, which he's happy to get back. Tet has went to the bench. We'll see. I could see now that Worthy's back, Char trying to trade for another running back that's better than Tony Pollard. I think that would make sense, or a tight end because Juwan Johnson actually popped up on the injury report as well today. He missed practice due to ankle injury, and it's the first practice he's missed all year. And also Taysom Hill is back. So the Juwan Johnson train might be short-lived. He does have Mark Andrews, who he picked up off the waivers, I want to say. No, he drafted him in the 9th round. Jesus. But, I mean, I think Char and Stern have the two best teams. I think Char's going to win this one, and Sami will drop to 2-3, surprisingly, after, his team looked real good for a hot sec there. But crashing back down to earth, I fear, and Char takes this one and moves up to 4-1. We got the certified Ingram Bowl off, and that's pretty exciting. The winner of this is the real certified Ingram fan. Losers out of town. And I'm looking at this, and I'll get the joke out of the way right now. I can guarantee you a certified Ingram fan is going to win this one. But we do have Jack and Noto. Jack actually comes in at an 11-point favorite here. He definitely hasn't set his lineup because Diggs is still on the bench in favor of T. Higgins, which would just be so silly. And actually, the Ravens defense is averaging negative 0.3 points a game. So I do think Jack will change his lineup, and this spread will increase in Jack's favor even more. I bet that he drops the Ravens defense. I bet that he puts Diggs in favor of T. Higgins. But again, Jack is free to do with his team whatever he wants. Let's get into it. He's starting C.J. Stroud, who is bad. So maybe he doesn't want to win, because if I wanted to win a game, I wouldn't start someone like C.J. Stroud. Again, not my team. He's free to do with what he wants. Saquon against Denver. Again, Saquon's been just okay. Chuba missed practice today with a calf injury, but he also missed last Wednesday. I think he should probably play. T. Higgins is still in his lineup for some reason. Jalen Waddle, the new wide receiver, one. Bowers has not been great, as I said. Olave has been just meh. Wide receiver 27 on the year. And then Javonte has been very good. That was a really good pick from Jack. On Noto's side of the matchup, Noto is hurting this week, for sure. And this is not a spot you want to be down all these guys. He's got Bijan and Kyle Pitts on bye. Bucky is in a boot walking around. He's on crutches today, too. So it would be a shocker if he's able to play this week. So he's down his tight end, and he's down his first two running backs, which is not good for sure. Trevin Henderson, his fifth round pick, obviously hasn't shaped up this year, I'll say, as a Patriots fan. I had Trevion in another league. I traded him away for Stephon Diggs at this point because Vrabel is not going to go away from that split backfield. He loves Ramondre and Gibson too much. It's not going to be this year for Trevion. Unfortunately, that was not a good pick at where he was taken. But he's got Justin Herbert, who's been solid. Mahomes. Okay, so this is the first week I think he's playing Justin Herbert over Mahomes. But Jacksonville's defense, you don't normally think they have a good defense. Their defense is pretty good this year. It's going to be uphill battle for Noto. He's got Darius Slayton in as his flex too. Rashad White, who is not as good as Bucky, but is serviceable in PPR formats. A.J. Brown obviously hasn't been good. Garrett Wilson's been very solid for him. But this is going to be a tough matchup, I think, for Noto. And I do think Jack gets a win here. If he sets his lineup and he stops playing the Ravens defense, I think he gets a win here. If he plays the Ravens defense, who one are bad and two are playing against his quarterback that he's playing for the week, it's anyone's game. But again, not my team. He can do with what he chooses, but I do think Jack will win this game. Our final matchup is me and Chad, and I come in at about a 25-point favorite. Chad said enjoy your bye week. We respect all of our opponents. Obviously, I gave Omar crap, but game's not over till it's over. Obviously, we come in as a favorite. Those are numbers we're happy to be on this side of, but we treat every opponent with the same intensity each week. So let's get into our matchups, shall we? On my side, Drake May and Hunter Henry taking on Buffalo on Sunday Night Football. That's going to be a great game. Super excited for that one. And then I actually have a running backs playing against each other with Jonathan Taylor and Ashton Gianti in Indianapolis. Bounce back game after Adonai Mitchell single-handedly cost the Colts the game last week, taking 14 points off the board. I got JJ at Cleveland. It's technically at Cleveland, but I think it's that game overseas, so they stayed overseas. QJ, who has been a great addition from Sami, the wide receiver 4 on the year. He's been mad clutch with how bad my wide receiver room is looking. And then Hunter Henry, obviously I'm happy to get him. Dave Montgomery, again, I have him, so selfishly I am hoping he balls out this week in his hometown, Cincinnati, with his family there. And then Michael Pittman from Stern, who is right now the wide receiver 13. He found the end zone last week. I'm hoping he finds it again. But I will say this. I would like to trade Michael Pittman for someone because I already have Jonathan Taylor. And I would prefer not to have two of the same people on the same offense. So, Sky, I'm looking at you. I texted you already about some players. If you have any interest in Michael Pittman, I'm looking to trade him because I don't want two players on the same team. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. On Chad's side of the matchup, Bo Nix going up against Philly, Scatabo against New Orleans. He's got Justice Hill filling in his RB2 with Josh Jacobs on bye. M.H. Chase found his way in the lineup. Cortland Sutton against Philly. He's got the Bo Nix, Cortland Sutton stack. Tyler Warren, I think, has probably been Chad's best pick. Tyler Warren looks really good. Alec Ayomanor, I can't get his name right, at Arizona. And then Godwin up against Seattle, and he's going with the Colts defense against Vegas. So I come in as a 25-point favorite. I'm going to write my own name down here. I hope I get a win. Obviously, we don't want to drop any games. We don't want to drop to a team that's 1-3. Chad, again, did get his first win last week. We were very happy for him. We didn't want anyone to be winless for an entire month. But we'll see, right? This is why we play the game. You got to play every week. I'm hoping I get the win. But more importantly, I hope everyone just has fun. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video and you texting it. And everyone just stays happy. And it's just a great fantasy league to be a part of. So thank you all for watching. I appreciate Jack and Stern for sending the videos whilst I was recording this. Thank you for sending those over. I apologize for pestering you, but I didn't want to be doing this video super late. Yeah, I would say hit the waiver wire, but everyone does that weekly, which is great to see. Maybe let's make some more trades because it's always fun to see those notifications come through. Other than that, thank you all for watching, and go Pats.